Well, it does seem to be easing off, and I've just noticed there's somebody actually walking down there. So, and in the distance, there's a bit of cloud and a bit of blue sky. So if that's coming this way, but anyway, I just thought I'd mention the latest news is there's some mention now that our actual so-called Rhodes Scholar, Tony Abbott, is not actually a Rhodes Scholar. I mean, how does that happen, that everyone thinks he's a Rhodes Scholar? It gets about, and no journalist has ever questioned it before. They've just taken it on note or something, saying, no one would lie that much that they're a Rhodes Scholar. That's a big lie. It's a big lie, isn't it, if it's not true that he's a Rhodes Scholar. And no journalist is investigated because they think, oh, no, you wouldn't say that if it wasn't true. Well, apparently there's rumours coming out now that he's actually saying that I've never made that claim. I'm thinking, well, if you've never made that claim, how does the claim that you're a Rhodes Scholar develop and is cultivated over the years, Who said it originally? I mean, where are our investigative journalists going after that story, Who was the first person to say that he was a Rhodes Scholar? Going back, how many decades do we have to go back to find this out? So what? Has this been going on, for 30 or 40 years? And no one has questioned it? And he's never said, oh, that's not true. Who said that? Who's making that up? No, apparently he's never said that at all. So, suddenly now coming out, oh, I've never made that claim. Well, I was just a bit dubious about that, the suppository statement. I thought, that doesn't ring true. If he said depository, I could understand that, what with the JFK stuff, Rhodes Scholar can make that sort of mistake. But the suppository one, that was just too much of a gap. A Rhodes Scholar making that sort of mistake. And of course, now we're thinking, rumours coming out that he might not actually even be a Rhodes Scholar. I mean, and if this has been going on for years, and he hasn't denied it, for years, there's no... someone makes a claim like that, you're a Nobel laureate and you're not, surely the first thing you say, hang on, that's not true, If you're an Australian, that's the first thing you'd say, oh, that's not true. Well, who's saying that? But no, if he's let this sort of go on for 30 or 40 years, I think this is if this is true, that he's not actually a Rhodes Scholar, I reckon this could be his undoing. I reckon this is the thing that's going to bring him down, I think. Yes, I reckon this is the one. If it's true that he's not a Rhodes Scholar and it's all porkies, and he hasn't denied it for, 30 or 40 years, all these rumours. I mean, I meet people in the street and one of the first things they say is that he's a Rhodes Scholar. And if he's not, that's just a blatant lie, and he's never corrected it. He's never gone on the record to correct it, sort of thing. I mean, where are our investigative journalists? That's what I want to know. Do we still have any investigative journalists in Australia? Surely if someone has that sort of... I think I need to go back to I think there was a Four Corners report early on this year or late last year or something about the election, the coming election, all that. And I'm sure they mentioned it on there that he was a Rhodes Scholar. I mean, didn't they do any basic research? I mean, it brings into question even our own ABC programs if it's not true, Didn't they just go and check the yearbooks or something like that, go to the local library, I mean, well, maybe they did, but by my God, if it's in the books as being, actually, I mean, that's, what do you call that? That's a conspiracy then, isn't it? Because, a book just doesn't happen by itself, It's not just one person writes a book. There's a whole load of people involved, You could say, yeah, this, I reckon this is it. If it's true, I reckon this is the one. This is it. This is the one thing. Australians don't like liars, and definitely it goes against the fair go, isn't it? Give someone that's an unfair go, You've gone through life, everyone thinking you're a Rhodes Scholar, and you're not. That's an unfair go, surely. It goes definitely against the Australian concept of the fair go. Anyway, this has been a big rant, but I think it's a biggie, this one. I think this is it. If this turns out to be true, that he's not a Rhodes Scholar, this is it, that's it. It's all over a Red Rover for him. He's going to have to stand down. Oh, yeah, I mean, surely. logically, you're going to have to stand down. You've just been walking through there and people been writing these things in the paper that he's a Rhodes Scholar, and he hasn't lifted a finger to mention, hang on, that's not true, fellas, or hasn't phoned anyone up to say, hang on, that thing he wrote in the paper the other day, that's not true. That's the rumour that's been hanging around for the last 40 years. I've been trying to change it and things like that, but he's never gone on the record to do that, I don't think. So, yeah, I think this is the biggie, this is the one. I reckon he's Gonski with this one if it turns out to be true. Anyway, over and out.